Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank all my guests. I want to thank all the people who came to Mother's Justice breakfast on November 7th of this year. Hey, and we had a great turnout. And I just want to let people know that we appreciate them. And also that we're moving forward. I mean, the election didn't go the way a lot of people thought it would be, but we are moving forward here in Seattle and across the country. And that's what's beautiful. Life always goes forward. And that is so exciting. And I'll have some guests on here. Ms. Tracy Brown will be on, and then Francis Oliver from Florida will be talking about what's happening in Florida after the election. But, I'm grateful. I wanted to just talk about the virtue of kindness today, because that really is what we need more of. Kindness is just kindness is free. That's what my grandmother used to say. It's a gift. Kindness illuminates my life and world. A precious gift taught to me by my grandmother. It's freely given. It shapes the smiles, words, and encouragement. Kindness lightens the burden, and instills worth and empowerment. The impact lingers and etches the memory of those who illumine their life path with open doors and kind words. And that's what's needed right now is kindness, this virtue here. It's a virtue. It's inherent in all people. And some people it's just in potential. But some people just naturally are kind. It says, I carry the torch of kindness, brightening lives with smiles, words, and empowering gestures. And this card is written, actually, it's from the Virtues Healing cards. And if you're interested in the virtues and you'd like to hear more about them, the website is virtueshealing.com. And you'll see about the virtues, and also know that Reverend Walden is available for healing circles. Because I know one thing for sure. If war and hatred could have got us to nirvana by now, wow, we would absolutely be on the gravy train. We would be there already. But war and hatred, jealousy, and all of this stuff that's going on in the world today, hey, it's not going to get us to the other side of where we want to get to. And I think we have to be really cognizant of that and keep kindness not in our pocket, but on our heart, on our sleeve, and do whatever we can to brighten someone's day. And that's what we do. I mean, mothers, we do our best to be kind, to be gentle, to be helpful. And all of those things is necessary. It's necessary to build unity and collaboration. And I know some people don't want to collaborate, but if we want to build a lasting community, collaboration is necessary. Compassion is necessary. Unity is necessary. And actually fairness is necessary. So I'm excited about the virtues. I'm excited about mothers. And I'm excited that we're going to move forward. And, no matter how dark it might look for some communities, the light is always on. The light of understanding, the light is kindness of always shining. And those of us who believe in the most, in a greater power in the world, we know that we're not ever alone. That power is always with us. So, Mothers has been around 34 years. That's a long time. And I'm pleased to announce that Mothers Impacted by Violence is going to be working with us. They have already hosted a couple shows. And I don't know if you got over to El Centro to see the altars over there. I call it the Day of the Dead, but it has another name. Another name that's beautiful. And we have a wonderful altar there. These are young women and that's been impacted by gun violence. And so we're making this pathway together because we believe that violence in the community and violence around police violence should be a parallel track and not separate. because we'll never heal the violence in our community as long as we're more concerned or actually concerned about police violence, but not enough concern in our community. So I'm really proud to be welcoming mothers impacted by violence, and they're just hot. They're just ready to go, and they just bring a lot of life and spirit to mothers, and we're just grateful. We are grateful for them, grateful for what they're bringing, and for their enthusiasm. Sometimes you need just a little bit more enthusiasm to be to get to the other level. And so we want to thank them, and we want to thank all the supporters who help us stay on the air. And so I'm just happy. What makes me happy the most is fall. I believe fall was made for us. All the colors there, and we just can wear all those colors. So every time I look around and I drive and I say, I grew up in Florida, of course, so we don't get fall. Not like this. And we really truly don't get a lot of spring. But fall is so beautiful in the Pacific Northwest. I'm just going to take this short break and bring my next guest on. She's Miss Tracy Brown, and she's going to be talking to us about so much good information. So we'll be right back. Thank you. Listen to Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Rev Walden.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Oh, good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. Hi, I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. And before I bring my guests on, I asked Eric to play music today from the Civil Rights Movement, just to get us interested and to get us all, know, hey, things might not have gone our way, but guess what? We're still here. And there's so much opportunity, because I know one thing. I know that it's only the Creator that just got us here and kept us this long. So, yeah, we're encouraged. And so I love that song by Mahalia Jackson. I want to bring my guests on here. My next guest is, my first guest of the day is Miss Tracy Brown. Wow, she's a Seattleite. And born and raised here. It's kind of hard to find these Seattleites, because all this transplants are here, whatever. But she went to Roosevelt too, right? I mean,
Cleveland High School.
Cleveland. All right. And she's the founder and board chair of Healthy Smart Homes. This is a wonderful new program that she's going to be in charge of. It's a nonprofit that aims to improve the quality of life for all people. Folks focused on these social determinants of health. I mean, you might want to explain that word too. What is social determinants? I've only heard it from a few people, and you was one of the leading ones to be able to talk about it. Oh yeah, of health, and we advocate. She advocates for the obtaining, retaining, and transference of wealth, especially for those communities who were disproportionately impacted by discrimination. That seems to be that we be on the list. All right, so welcome, Miss Brown.
Welcome, Miss. It's just, like I said, an honor to be on your show.
Well, thank you. So, hey, this is so exciting. So I'm glad that you're here. And I've been hearing about the Covenant Home Ownership program and its pathway to ownership. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and include that determinant, that word up here? Let's go back to that big word.
That social determinants of health.
Yes,
I sure can.
Yeah, go back to that big word.
Well, a couple of things. You asked me a couple of things. And yes, Healthy Smart Homes was established in Washington State in 2020. And we are really seeking to develop equitable and thriving communities. So we're supporting and advocating residential and commercial ownership to stem wealth and home ownership gaps, and to sort of improve the social determinants of health or quality of life through what we call an equitable economic mobility strategy. And really what we're just saying is, now, we recognize there are disparities and disproportionalities based on race and ethnicity for different
Mm-hmm.
groups,
Mm-hmm.
and in terms of residential and home ownership. And those disparities have been gone on for quite some time. The social determinants of health, or some people are now calling it the drivers of health, were started initially by the World Health Organization, where they were identifying and they were looking at what systems in our society were creating inequities in terms of quality of life for people. So they were saying, well, we have these systems in our society that are not actually providing equal access and opportunity for everyone. So they identified, and different organizations have different determinants, but the idea is the drivers or determinant of quality of life. So, for example, one of the determinants is who has access to healthcare, and the quality of healthcare that you receive can determine your level of quality of life. And they
Mm-hmm.
consider that to be a social driver or determinant. A second one is economic stability. Who has access to jobs? Who either has who may have a business, and how are you economically stable, and whether there are disparities in how people have economic stabilities within our societal systems. Third one is housing security. Who has access to rentals and homes, and is there disparities in terms of who has home ownership as well as who can rent and things like that, and who has access to fair and equitable housing. We have others, and I'll just name them real quickly, but it's along the same line. There's education is another quality of life or determinant of health. Who has
Okay.
access to education that could
Mm-hmm.
lead to a better job, that could lead to some of the other determinants. Environmental justice is another one. Um, Voting participation or civic responsibility, and how they interact with the criminal justice system. So it was started actually by the World Health Organization, and then it was adopted by the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, the National Institute of Health, and almost every public health um, department in the country, and almost every foundation who looks at what are those systems in our society that create quality of life. And if there are disparities, what are those disparities, and which groups are more highly impacted? What we do know based on the data, that African Americans, Indigenous, and Hispanics have the higher poorer outcomes around those social determinants or drivers of health. And they don't look at them at a snapshot in time, they look at them over time, so over periods of time. So that's really what it is. It's looking at who has access to a quality of life.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Also, I want to remind my listeners that this is a podcast later on, so make sure you tell your friends about it. I understand that there are other down payment assistance program. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so I'm going to continue the conversation around what the Covenant program and tie the down payment assistance. So in spring of 2023, the Washington State Legislature passed the Covenant Home Ownership Act. And it was with bipartisan support. And what they basically acknowledged, that the state government's role as both an active and a passive participation in generations of discriminatory policies and practices that created barriers to credit and home ownership for historically marginalized communities. And so they passed this Home Ownership Act, and they were looking at identifying ways in which they can to address that issue. So they conducted a study through the National Fair Housing Alliance out of Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And from that study, they determined that it was appropriate based on case law, that they could have a race conscious initiative.
Oh, wow.
So it was established that this would be a race conscious initiative that
Mm-hmm.
would address how the discrimination, housing discrimination for residents of colors in this state of Washington. The the program specifically identifies African American and Blacks, Indigenous people, Natives, as well as Hispanics, Latinos, and some Asian groups as well. You can go to my website at www.hcwalden, healthysmarthomes.org. And I will mention that again. And the study is on my website, as well as the
Wow.
Washington State Finance Commission also has that study, and there's also videos that really explain that this is a race-conscious initiative, and it was passed by the Washington State legislature to address historic and current day discrimination, housing discrimination.
Well, that's excellent, because it's been here for a long time. After even when they passed Proposition 13 many years ago, they made it legal for gay couples to buy homes in Seattle, and but still being redlined for people that lived in the central area in those days.
Right.
All right.
So to kind of not to interrupt you there, to kind of answer your second question, part of what that Home Ownership Act provides is a couple of things. It gives individuals an opportunity to get 20% down payment assistance and plus closing costs. And what that is what we call it a soft second, meaning you get your initial loan and you go through your process, and then most people don't have access to down payment. So what it does is it provides what we call a soft second, meaning it just sits there. You don't pay any interest and you don't pay monthly payments, and it just sits there until you decide to refinance or you decide to sell. Then the 20% down becomes due. But the effect is, we know the barrier for people to getting into home is most people can't come up with the 20% down payment assistance. And if they can't, they usually have to pay private mortgage insurance, which is on top of what the mortgage will be and any taxes. What this does is alleviates for not all of the lending programs, but a large majority of them, that down payment assistance of 20%.
Wow, that's excellent. Well, why did they choose April 1968 as a residential date as qualifying criteria?
Well, they were focusing on the Fair Housing Act when that was passed on April 11th, 1968. Okay. After the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. And so they went with that date as a date to establish who's a resident in the state of Washington. And that is actually one of the criterias to be to be able to participate in the program.
Wow, I came in 1975, so.
But that's okay. There's other programs that are available outside of the Covenant program for individuals who are in Washington State and who want to purchase a home. That's the beauty of it. If you want to contact our office, we will tell you about other down payment assistance programs if you don't necessarily qualify for the Covenant program. There are other down payment assistance out there, and you can layer them, and we can talk a little bit later about what that layering means.
All right, then. In my viewership, if my viewership is interested, how can they access the information?
Well, they can call me at 206-747-4701. That's 206-747-4701. Or they can email me at info@healthysmarthomes.org. That's info, INFO, at healthysmarthomes.org. Please give us a call. This is a pathway to home ownership. And the last couple of things I want to say to you, you can layer down payment assistance. Our partner is the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle, meaning there's a 20% down payment assistance there, and there's another 20% down payment. You can layer those, and when you look up now, you've got 40% down payment assistance.
Wow. Now, is this a statewide program?
It is a statewide program, and we're going to conduct outreach statewide and notify people about the program and who's eligible for the program, and we're going to assist them on their pathway to home ownership.
Wow, this is so excellent! It's outstanding. Is it the only one in the nation like this?
Pretty much like this, yes. We are the model for the country. When I talk to friends across the country, they go, "Can we have that here? What? Your state legislator passed that? That's amazing!" And they want to know also whether it was bipartisan or whether or not it was strictly one of the parties or another. And I said, no, it was bipartisan support, that they recognized that government's responsibility and role in active and passive discrimination policies and practices that created barriers.
Wow, 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 wow. And now, what year was the legislature that did this again? I'm sorry, could you tell us
It
again?
was a Yes, it was spring 2023, House
Oh, okay.
Bill 1472.
Oh, it's recently. I
Recently.
mean, yeah, so we got a lot of things done with this past administration here. So, yeah,
That's
this
right.
is just so awesome because I know that people lost homes and all things happened during the war on drugs and just a whole bunch of stuff that's happened in our community.
Correct.
And then with the savings and with the 2008 when President Obama came in and the system crashed a little bit. Some people lost their homes because of some of the loans that they had. So it's just a welcoming opportunity. As some doors look like they might be closing for people, this is like a wide open door, and
It is a
especially go
no,
ahead,
go ahead. It's a
especially go ahead. I wait.
Okay, especially a lot of people thinking that they can't qualify. If you're seeking a home and you're looking at something in King County, your area median income cannot exceed 147,000
Wow.
400 cannot exceed. Well, there was a myth out there that you had to make 147 in order to
Oh wow.
qualify. That's not
Mm-hmm.
true.
Wow.
If your income is less than that, that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the qualifying criterias. And we determine that based on the county. If you're in Pierce County, I think the area median income for there is 112,000. So it depends upon where you want to purchase, but area median income is one of the eligibility criterias. So there's a lot of myths out there. We're asking people to contact us and address some of those myths. There's another myth out there that don't get the program, wait until it turns into a grant. Please don't do that. Please, if you're looking for home ownership and it's a
Mm,
pathway to home ownership,
that's right.
give us a call so we can help you on your pathway to home ownership.
Wow, this is just excellent, and I'm glad it's going to be statewide. People in the Tri-Cities, and
Yeah.
over in Spokane, and all the way over to Wazoo. I mean, so it's like it's just awesome for it to be a statewide program with a race determinant on there that people like us can actually qualify and won't be sued by discounting or not including all people. I mean, that's what's wonderful about it. You can't be sued for that because, going forward, a lot of things is going to change. And I'm glad that Washington State is still ahead of the curve in trying to right the wrong. I mean, because these houses still had covenants on them. Even when I came to Seattle down, they still had the covenants. And there was a book written not a few years ago about Seattle and all. I mean, I saw things written about Washington State. I've written about Washington State and all the covenants that was still on some of the houses, homes here, down the hill, down Madison, and a lot of other places. Where I mean, they had gated communities before gated communities was popular down going west, going east on Madison down toward the lake. So, I mean, I just think it's fantastic, and I'm glad that you're out there doing this. I'm glad that you are going to make a difference in housing for people because I know that's been your passion for a long, long time to be able to impact the community with housing. Because with stable housing, you can actually begin to make a life for yourself.
You're absolutely correct. You can make a life for yourself. You can also increase your equity. You can take that equity out and start businesses or pay for college education for your children or grandchildren. You can also use that to transfer that to future generations so that they have a head start. I mean, home ownership and commercial ownership are, ways to build your and diversify your economic opportunities. And a lot of people find a lot of their money, especially for retirement, through their homes or through
Right,
their businesses. And
right.
so we wanted to make sure that we advocated and we provided a pathway to home ownership, and we're working very closely with Linda Taylor over there,
Yes, she's
and
been
the
there a long
Seattle
time.
Healing.
Yes.
Yep. And so we're just so excited. But please give us a call at 206-747-4701. That's 206-747-4701. You can email us at info@healthysmarthomes.org. That's info@healthysmarthomes.org.
All right. Well, hey, this is just wonderful. I mean, all this information and money to help with the closing cost and down payment and just all of this is. I'm just really happy that this is happening and that you're going to be involved with this at a big level. And do you have anything else you want to tell us about what else you're doing?
Well, I do want to also say, because I'll come back on at another time,
Okay.
because there's some other opportunities that I'm involved in that are tied to some of the work that you're doing for mothers. But one other thing on the home ownership covenant, there are some of the entities who are actually providing some grants, and there is what we call money out there, what we call for grant readiness programs. And what
Okay.
that is, um, an opportunity for people if they have a certain amount of debt. There's a small pot of money available for for us to be able to pay that debt down so that they could qualify for those homes. And some of those are grants out there as well. So when you give us a call and we can look into that, there is some money out there that will pay some of your debt so that you can qualify for a home. Um,
Wow.
it's just a great
It
opportunity,
is.
and we are reaching out to all communities, Black, Latin, Hispanic, Indigenous, Asian communities, and letting them know about this race conscious program and what the Washington state legislators Covenant Housing Act that was bipartisan passed in 2023, and it officially launched this year on July 1st of 2024. So it's just an amazing opportunity. Please give us a call and give us an opportunity to potentially get you on the path to home ownership.
I think one of the other things that's so exciting about this is that no one can file a discrimination case suit, you know? I mean, like the other groups of people being discriminated. I mean, because the way it's written and stuff like that. So, I mean, because you have all these unintended consequences come up sometimes when other people get involved, but they think that we are getting something and other people's left out. See, yeah.
Well, that's unfortunately, someone can always file, and someone has filed saying, challenging the Covenant Home Ownership Act.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, that has happened, and I'm not at liberty. I don't know
Right.
anything about it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. We've just been told that there has been a challenge, but we're going to continue to move forward. The Washington State Housing Finance Commission is moving forward, and we're all moving forward with confidence to get people on a pathway to home ownership.
Wow, this is wonderful. I want to thank you, Ms. Brown, for coming on the Mother's Justice Show. I enjoyed this information, and I'm sure our listeners will, listen either now on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on Mother's Justice Show, and I'm sure we'll be talking again.
Okay, thank you for having me. All the
you're
best.
welcome.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. We'll take a break right now and be right back. Thank you.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Oh, yes, it will. Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Rev Harriett. That's one of my favorite songs from a long time ago. And now a long time ago might be coming back. We're waiting to see if we can get Mr. Oliver on the phone. So I just want to talk a little bit more about the virtues and what's needed in the world today. Whatever is coming, whatever people are talking about. One of the big virtues that we're going to need is discernment. That's able to understand and know and to listen to that voice within. Discernment is very, very important. I mean, I think it's discernment and obedience might go together, because sometimes we can discern something and we decided to do something else because, I just don't want to do that right now. But discernment is really the creative, being attuned to the Creator's voice, to listen, to listen, to know what's going on. And, it really is inner GPS, what it is. Sometimes you get in the car, I don't have that GPS, I don't have that in my car. And then people put in where they're going and where they want to go. I outline the route for people. And I've been in the car with people when they just put it on to go downtown, and they've been here all their lives. And I wonder, why are you using that GPS when you have your own intuition? And it's God-given. So one of the virtues that's going to help us get through whatever is coming is discernment. I think it's really important. And I like that one. I like them all. I mean, because all of these virtues are inherent in every human being. And some of them are just really in potential. And some people, just like Miss Brown, who was my previous guest, friendly. They just are friendly all the time. And that's not in potential. That's who they are. It really is who they are. So I encourage people to absolutely be who you are and to keep going forward. And this other program that Miss Brown was talking about, I think is an excellent program, especially for first home buyers or people who had a home and now, something happened and they want to get into a home again. Because we see all the people in the streets across America, especially this Washington state. Now, they're probably not that homeless in Florida. If so, they're not going to be, be in the places that they are here in Seattle. But it's really important to understand that and to have some, discernment and to understand that we can still make it here. I mean, because Seattle has a lot of people without homes. I don't like to call people homeless, because everybody has a home. I mean, maybe it's in potential. Maybe they're still dreaming about it. Maybe it didn't manifest yet. But it seems to be a lot of despair and a lot of despair that's going on with people. And I'm sure it's all across the country. But I think we should lighten up and just get into the flow of knowing that there's always good. There's always good people in the world. It's good people. And a lot of the police departments are going to go backwards. I mean, because the incoming president said he was going to give them all immunity for whatever they did. So I'm sure that a lot of them, maybe including Seattle, will go backwards to the 1990 model, Darrell Gates model. Being a occupying force in some communities. And I know I'm sure a lot of people are going to be fighting against it and that type of stuff. But, mothers actually wants to work on a new path, not only with the relationship with mothers impacted by violence, but also about informing young people about what it means to be a felon. And I don't think people understand. We can complain about America. I mean, as it is now, we don't know what it's going to be later on, what it is. But one thing about it, you have citizenship. Citizenship entitles you to be able to buy a home, to go to college, to get a loan. Some of the things that Ms. Brown was talking about. In Florida, this last election, there was almost a million felons who could not vote. And people are making comments about the incoming president being a felon. Well, it's always been two sets of rules. Always been two sets of rules. And that hasn't changed. But becoming a felon at an early age, and some people have multiple charges against them, or it has been adjudicated that they're felons. But what it does is that it strips you of your citizenship in a way. Because somebody who's becoming a citizen and sworn in on July 4th every year, I believe it is, that person has more rights than you do, and your ancestors helped build America. I think it's critical for young people to understand that, it's never in a need to become a felon. And Tennessee has a lot of felons. And most of those are African-American people who have maybe not understood what being a felon is, or believe that they didn't have any opportunity. That's one thing we have to always know, that God's people are going to always have opportunity. Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. So, wow, and so this is really interesting. The other virtue I want to talk about right now is mercy. Mercy is giving people, mercy is giving people, justice is giving people what they earn. Mercy is giving people more. Mercy is. And I think it's really good for us to mercy extends beyond grace and understands in encompassing forgiveness and generosity. These are the things that's going to get us through whatever's coming. You got to have mercy and you got to have some kindness and some generosity. We're going to take a break right now and listen to one of the songs from the past. We'll be right back. This is Reverend Walden on your host on 1150 AM KKNW, Mother's Justice Show. We'll be right back.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Oh, good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. Did you like that song? James Brown says he's black and is proud. You know what? That was our anthem. Said, yeah, we are. After being told so many times if we wasn't this and wasn't that. Yeah, we got black and proud. So I can't get my guests in Florida yet. So, hey, we'll just keep going on as we talk about what's necessary and how we chart the future. One thing we know, we don't know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future. And that piece we know for sure. It's not man. Man makes a plan and God makes another plan. And God is always the best plan. And yeah, I bring my spirituality with me. The other virtue I think is necessary as we move through this uncharted course that we can move through is strength. We bring the strength of our ancestors. Isn't that something? We bring the strength of the people who were seasoned for 246 years to be a slave. That's only take the thought they made a slave out of us, but we're still not conquered. So yeah, we need strength. We need to teach our children strength and discernment and what it's like. And also excellence. Excellence is for yourself. It's not for nobody else, because excellence make you feel good. Oh my goodness, I did this, and have you ever noticed little children when they come home or you be around them and they can write their ABCs and when they can do them really good, how good they feel? Well, that's what excellence is about. It makes it feel good. And that's how I feel about some of the work I've done in Seattle. I've done the best job I could with the police and community policing. I'm bringing the DOJ to town, and actually we didn't get what we wanted. We thought we would get real police accountability, but I did know that they wasn't going to help in the areas that we wanted to. And also they gave the hard work to the CPC. And, I stepped down from that commission on September 30th. I was the longest appointee by McGinn, who appointed me and who appointed all of us in 2013 to be the commissioners for the Seattle Police Commission, the CPC, the Community Police Commission. And I stayed, and stayed the course, trying to make sure that we'd have something. We wanted to have something for the people, but it really didn't work out the way we thought it was going to work out. So I advise anybody in any city who's listening to Mother's Justice Show today, and your group is entertaining, asking the DOJ to come to town. You won't get what you want. And now with the incoming administration, it won't be any investigations around police misconduct. And I think the only way you're going to get police real accountability over police is, number one, we need to change the language, y'all. They're not public servants. I am. They're public employees. I'm a public servant. And we call the police public servants. They're not. They're public employees. They are public employees. just like everybody else who worked for the city. And yeah, they are in harm's way, but they're public employees, and they can find another job anytime they want to. They can. And so I think one of the first things we have to do is change the language and call them public employees. And then if they're public employees, you have a right to have accountability over them. And SPOG, the Seattle Police Guild, never gave an inch the whole time we were doing this work. They're the same police guild. The president of the guild, he ran on Make America Great Again. And Seattle had the most police officers to go to like the Washington, D.C. on January 6th in another police department. So that kind of let you know what's going on in Seattle. But in the midst of this, we're going to call on grace. Grace is a divine gift to bestowed upon us by the Creator. And that's what it is. It's a divine gift. And so sometimes we just offer grace for all the people who are involved in city government and in city government. And we offer for the police department some gentleness. I mean, that's a way that you can talk to people and get everything you want, and without being harsh and talking to them bad and cussing them out. So again, as time moves on here, the other thing I think is really important is to see how we can work in unity for people who are willing to work across all kinds of lines, so we can move forward for our children. And to make sure our children know history. I mean, that's why these songs that we're playing here, it's something, because these are songs that carried us through some of these battles. And Mahalia Jackson was a friend of Martin Luther King. He loved her singing. I mean, some of the rap won't get us through. Some of the TikTok won't get us through. But practicing grace and excellence, strength, unity, and fairness. I think I know we're going to get through. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Another one important one for us to remember is faith. Just think about what our ancestors had to endure. And I was born and raised in segregation, so I know some stuff. But my grandmother was born in 1889. She knew a lot. That was way before people got electricity and water in the houses. Cooking on a wood stove. I don't know how many people who are listening today I've ever cooked on a wood stove. And remember, check out Mothers on a Podcast. Okay, it'll be available. Tell your friends about us. We just a group of women. Chris Simon used to call us. He used to call us "you little women." He said, "If you all had husbands, you wouldn't be out making trouble for the police." Well, these little women are still around. We've grown older, but our light is still there. The light and the love for the people. That we can be better. It can be it could be a better. The police departments all around the country, but it's a choice. It's a choice as they move backwards, back to ancient time. Yeah, and we move forward too in a different direction, talking to the young people and making sure they understand the difference, of being a felon and being a citizen. Now we can say we treated whatever kind of way, but you're still a citizen of the United States of America. The 14th Amendment made it so. The 14th Amendment said the freed slaves and their descendants going forward would be American citizens, would be American. We're the only group in the Constitution. We're there more than once. So just teaching history and asking people to wake up. I think it's a marvelous opportunity to build community, and swap recipes and all that stuff. I think it's a marvelous opportunity for us to gather ourselves and practice the virtue of resilience, helpfulness. Yeah, you got to be helpful to one another. You got to honor one another. So if you're interested in also in the Virtues Healing Circus, please go to virtueshealing.com. And you'll see all you need to know about the virtues and healing circles. We're available to do healing circles. Because you know what I truly fundamentally believe? I fundamentally believe that love is the only way. No matter what, love wins. It is the only thing that lasts. All this other stuff will fade away. But you always remember the people who are kind and love you. And it always changes your heart. So and that's what grace would do. So as we leave today, I want to leave you with hope, unity, strength, fairness, and all that's necessary always to carry us to the next level. So listen, you've been listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. It is my joy to be on the air. I love radio. I really do. Check out the podcast, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.